With just 188 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Sunoiler has a best lap time of 1:46.643. Megasaurus 55 has a best lap time of 1:47.938. Sunoiler's first flyer is a solid start, clocking in at 1:46.643. They're getting a feel for the track, but there's room to shave off a few more seconds.
Absolutely, Rob. It's all about finding those little tweaks, adjusting the line here, braking a tad later there. Every lap is a learning curve.
Megasaurus 55 posted 1:47.938 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Now, here's a term some might not be familiar with: roll bar stiffness. Sounds technical, doesn't it?
It does, but in essence, it's about how the car reacts to lateral forces, especially during cornering. Adjusting the roll bar can change how the car behaves mid-corner. A softer setting can be more forgiving, but a stiffer one might give the driver a quicker response, albeit with less margin for error.
These practices, mate, they're like a kangaroo finding its best hop. Once you've got it, you're unstoppable.
Couldn't have put it better. Finding the perfect launch is all about repetition and adjustments.
Alright, Sunoiler has put down a 1:48.157. It's a decent benchmark, but I reckon there's more juice to squeeze out of that Formula Mazda.
For sure, Rob, it's early days. They're just starting to sync up with the track. We'll likely see those times tumble as they dial in.
Megasaurus 55 crosses the line with their first flyer, clocking a 1:53.691. They're getting to grips with Zandvoort, feeling out its quirks and corners.
It's like the first round of a chess match, Rob. They're making their opening moves, setting up for the later, faster laps where they'll really show their hand.
With just 183 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Megasaurus 55 posted a 153.691 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Sunoiler has a best lap time of 146.403. Look at Eddie G taking it nice and easy, a smart move. Like a chess player contemplating the opening move, they're planning several steps ahead.
Spot on. They're mentally mapping each corner, each straight. It's not just about the car, it's about strategy and foresight.
Ever heard the pit crew chat about wheel camber? Sounds like a dance move, but trust me, it's all car talk.
Haha, yeah, camber is the angle of the wheel relative to the road. A bit of negative camber, where the top of the tire leans inwards, can give more grip in the corners. But too much and you're looking at premature wear on the inside of the tire. It's a balancing act, and each track requires its own setting.
So, for those tuning in and wondering what's the go with these practice sessions, well, it ain't just about flexing their engines. It's about synergy, mate. Getting the driver, the car, and the track to sing in harmony.
Couldn't have put it better. We liken it to rehearsing a dance. Every step, every turn must be practiced until it's second nature on the big stage.
Richard Rossier is rolling out for the first sniff of the track. It's all about feeling the car, the tarmac, and getting the mind in the zone.
Absolutely, Rob. The out lap is like the opening chapter of a book. A Euro sets the tone for the whole story. They'll be checking how the car's responding, getting a real feel for the conditions today at Zandvoort.
Megasaurus 55's first flyer is a solid start, clocking in at 151.868. They're getting a feel for the track, but there's room to shave off a few more seconds.
Absolutely, Rob. It's all about finding those little tweaks, adjusting the line here, braking a tad later there. Every lap is a learning curve.
There's Eddie G, gently nudging the beast as they head out. The outlap is where you whisper to the car, "Let's dance," before the real party starts.
You got that right. It's a gentle waltz before the full-on rock concert of the race. They're testing the waters, getting a feel for every bend and straight of Zandvoort.
And there's Richard Rossier, easing out onto Zandvoort. It's like the first step on a long hike, finding your footing before you hit full stride.
Right, and every racer knows this outlap is precious. It's their first handshake with the track today, feeling out its mood and temperament.
Eddie G is in Gerlachbach. There goes Richard Rossier on their first dance with Zandvoort. Every bend, every straight is a chance to learn, to adapt.
Yep, and it's about syncing with the car too, making sure everything's in harmony. It's like tuning an instrument before a big concert.
Rob Keen's on the outlap, getting a taste of the tarmac. It's like sniffing the cork before a good wine. First impressions matter.
Exactly. They're assessing the grip, the balance, the whole shebang. You can learn a lot in these quiet moments before the throttle really opens up.
You ever think about what's ticking inside a driver's noggin during these laps?
All the time. It's a mix of analyzing, strategizing, and adapting. Every corner, every straight is a puzzle, and they're trying to solve it at full speed.
You know, mate, watching these practice sessions, you'd think the driver just jumps in and goes. But there's a heck of a lot more to it. Starting with that aero package, the balance between drag and downforce.
Oh, for sure. You tweak the front wing just a smidge, and you could have a totally different beast on your hands. Depending on the track, they might want more downforce for those tight corners or reduce it for the long straights to maximize speed.
There's the first flying lap for Megasaurus 55, hitting 148.140. It's a start, but they'll be looking to iron out those kinks as they get more laps under their belt.
Right on, Rob. It's early in the session, so there's plenty of time to experiment and find those extra tenths of a second.
And away goes Richard Rossier, charging down Hugenholzbeck like a bull at a gate. This lap's where they set the tone for the session.
Indeed, Rob. It's about laying down a marker, seeing how the car responds when they dial everything up to 11. They're testing the waters, but also setting their own benchmarks.
Joe Yu posted 150.404 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Alright, Megasaurus 55 has put down a 148.140. It's a decent benchmark, but I reckon there's more juice to squeeze out of that Formula Mazda.
For sure, Rob, it's early days. They're just starting to sync up with the track. We'll likely see those times tumble as they dial in.
With just 172 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Rob Keane is not hanging about, straight into the thick of it on this first flying lap. They're getting a real taste of the Formula Mazda's capabilities.
Absolutely. It's about understanding the limits early on. You'll see them experimenting with braking points and turn-in speeds, all while keeping an eye on those tire temps.
Megasaurus 55 crosses the line with their first flyer, clocking a 155.522. They're getting to grips with Zandvoort, feeling out its quirks and corners.
It's like the first round of a chess match, Rob. They're making their opening moves, setting up for the later, faster laps where they'll really show their hand.
In these sessions, they're not just pushing the car's limits, but their own too. Testing their mettle, seeing how far they can go before the big dance.
Exactly. It's a mental game as much as a physical one. Balancing aggression with precision, daring with data. It's an art and a science.
It's all about finding that sweet spot during these sessions. Like tuning a didgeridoo, but way faster.
Haha, and a lot noisier. But you're right. In Indy, we fine-tune until it feels just right. Every lap here is a step towards perfection.
Megasaurus 55's first serious lap is in the books with a time of 3:07.458. Good effort, but I'm expecting them to really push the envelope in the next few laps.
Yeah, it's about building that momentum, Rob. Fine-tuning their approach with each turn, each lap, getting more out of the car and themselves.
Rob Keane has a best lap time of 1:44.437. Megasaurus 55's first flyer is a solid start, clocking in at 307.458. They're getting a feel for the track, but there's room to shave off a few more seconds.
Absolutely, Rob. It's all about finding those little tweaks, adjusting the line here, braking a tad later there. Every lap is a learning curve.
And off goes Mr. Bang, easing into the rhythm of Zandvoort. This lap is like the first sip of your morning coffee, waking up the senses, priming the engines.
Yeah, it's about syncing up with the machine, getting that perfect harmony between driver and car. It's like a prelude to a symphony that's about to unfold on the track.
Watch as Jack M team takes it nice and easy on this outlap. It's not just about warming up the tires, it's about getting into that mental pit lane, tuning into the race mindset.
For sure, Rob, they're calibrating everything a euro. The brakes, the steering, the throttle response. It's a crucial part of laying down the groundwork for a successful practice session.
Here we go, folks. The atmosphere is electric as the drivers prepare to unleash their machines on the track at Zandvoort for the qualifying session.
Let's see who's got the speed and the skills to take the pole position.
Jack M team is on their outlap. Megasaurus 55 has positioned themselves well in 5th during qualifying. The challenge now is to assess their competitors and strategize how to move up the order for a better race start. What a sublime effort by Eddie G in qualifying. They have taken charge of the session, holding the top position with authority. Their consistency and skill have been unmatched so far, and they are positioning themselves for a favorable starting position. A solid performance from Richard Rossier as they currently hold position 3. However, with the session coming to a close, they'll need to find that extra bit of speed if they want to move up the grid.
I couldn't agree more, Rob. Richard Rossier has done a fantastic job to claim 3rd. The challenge now is to convert this opportunity into a strong race result.
Incredible performance by Jack M team so far. They have been the benchmark in this qualification session, consistently setting fast lap times and securing the top spot. It's a commanding position for them, and their rivals will be chasing their tail. Eddie G has secured a respectable 8th in the qualifying session. Can they capitalize on this position and use it as a launching pad for a stronger race performance? A strong showing from Richard Rossier as they currently sit in 2nd. With the session drawing to a close, they'll need to dig deep and find that extra burst of speed to improve. Richard Rossier has completed their outlap. Rob Always Keen has put in a great effort and current Keen has completed their outlap. And there goes Joe Erg, currently in position 5. They've shown great skill and consistency so far, but with a few minutes left, there's still time to improve their result.
You're absolutely right, Rob.
Joe Erg has completed their outlap. There are just over 10 minutes left in this qualification session. What a performance from Richard Rossier. They currently occupy 4th on the grid. Can they maintain this strong position and secure a favourable starting spot?
You hit the nail on the head, Rob. Richard Rossier's current position of 4th is a testament to their skill and determination.
Richard Rossier has completed their first flying lap in 1:46.250. Currently in 9th, Eddie G has displayed promising speed during the qualifying session. Eddie G has completed their outlap. Incredible drive by Joe Erg so far, earning them 8th on the grid. However, the competition is fierce. Will they be able to find that extra edge to move up?
You're spot on, Rob. U's current position of 8th is a testament to their skills and determination. Now,
Joe Erg has completed their outlap. Mr. Bang has positioned themselves well in 10th during qualifying. The challenge now is to assess their competitors and strategize how to move up the order for a better race start.
Absolutely, Rob. Mr. Bang has put in a remarkable effort to secure 10th. The competition is fierce, and they'll need to stay focused to defend their position.
Impressive display by Joe Erg, currently sitting in position 9. They've set a competitive time, but the question remains whether they can push even harder to secure a better starting position.
I couldn't agree more, Rob. U has done a fantastic job to claim 9th. The challenge now is to convert this opportunity into a strong race result.
Jack M team has secured a respectable 8th in the qualifying session. Can they capitalize on this position and use it as a launching pad for a stronger race performance? What a fantastic showing from Rob in qualifying. They currently hold the top spot and are in prime position for a strong starting position. Their lap times have been exceptional, and they have showcased their talent and determination. A solid qualifying performance by Joe Erg, positioning them in 8th at the moment. The question now is whether they can make further progress and challenge the frontrunners.
Couldn't agree more, Rob. Jorg Yu has positioned themselves impressively in 8th. Now, they need to build on this foundation and strive for an even better race result.
A solid performance from Richard Rossier as they currently hold position 4. However, with the session coming to a close, they'll need to find that extra bit of speed if they want to move up the grid.
Absolutely, Rob. Richard Rossier has shown great potential to secure 4th. It's now a matter of channeling that momentum into a strong performance during the race.
There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. Jorg Yu has just completed a lap in 1:47.711. Let's see if they can improve on that time further. There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. Smells Like We has just completed that lap in 1:46.445. Their best lap so far is 1:46.445, putting them in P7. Will they be able to hold on to that spot? And there goes Sunoiler, currently in position 3. They've shown great skill and consistency so far, but with a few minutes left, there's still time to improve their result. Impressive work from Jack M team, who has claimed 6th on the grid. Now, the focus is on maintaining their composure and pushing for an even better starting position.
Spot on analysis, Rob. Jack M team has positioned themselves well in 6th. It's now crucial for them to maintain their focus and defend their position in the upcoming race.
What a performance from Roll Postma. They currently occupy 2nd on the grid. Can they maintain this strong position and secure a favourable starting spot? Roll Postma's really showing what they're made of, landing in 2nd during this nail-biting session.
Absolutely, Rob. It's all about precision and nerve in qualifying. Every millisecond can make a difference on the grid. Let's see if they can squeeze out even more speed. It may be difficult for them to improve further on that. Sometimes trying too hard makes you slower. They need to drive smooth and smart.
It's an impressive showing by Smells Like We, currently in 7th. They've showcased their talent, but will they be able to find those crucial extra tenths of a second to climb higher?
You hit the nail on the head, Rob. Smells Like We's current position of 7th is a testament to their skill and determination.
Smells Like We's got their work cut out for them in 7th. Perhaps adjusting the gear ratios for better acceleration could help knock off a few tenths.
You're on the money, Rob. On a track with this many tight turns, quicker acceleration out of the corners could be key to a faster lap time.
Incredible drive by Sunoiler so far, earning them 3rd on the grid. However, the competition is fierce. Will they be able to find that extra edge to move up?
I completely agree, Rob. Sunoiler has positioned themselves impressively in 3rd. However, it's crucial for them to keep pushing to potentially improve their starting position.
Looks like Sunoiler is making a statement, securing a spot in 3rd.
Yep, Rob, but there's always room for improvement. Smooth, consistent laps might just be the key to climbing even higher before this session wraps up.
Currently in 5th, Richard Rossier has displayed promising speed during the qualifying session. The real test lies in whether they can convert this performance into a higher grid position.
Great analysis, Rob. Richard Rosier has shown excellent pace to secure 5th. Now, the focus shifts to whether they can use their track position to their advantage.
It's a stellar performance from Richard Rosier, clinching 4th.
They're in a great spot, Rob, but in qualifying, complacency can be your worst enemy. They need to keep pushing the limits while staying cool under pressure. Every fraction of a second counts. I am sure they can find a little extra in there.
Eddie G has secured a respectable 5th, with Eddie G now sitting pretty in 5th. They have got to be feeling good.
True, but in the world of racing, good isn't always good enough. They've got to keep their eye on the prize and aim for perfection on every turn. It may be difficult for them to improve further on that. Sometimes trying too hard makes you slower. They need to drive smooth and smart.
A strong showing from Richard Rosier as they currently sit in 4th. With the session drawing to a close, they'll need to dig deep and find that extra burst of speed to improve. Jack M team has put in a great effort and currently holds 6th. With the session winding down, can they unleash their full potential and improve their starting position? It's a dominant performance from Rob in this qualification session. They have shown exceptional form and are leading the way. Their confidence is shining through, and they are proving why they are considered one of the best in the business. Impressive display by Richard Rosier, currently sitting in position 4. They've set a competitive time, but the question remains whether they can push even harder to secure a better starting position.
You're spot on, Rob. Richard Rosier's current position of 4th is a testament to their skills and determination. Now, they face the challenge of maintaining their position against hungry rivals.
An outstanding display from Rob Keane in this qualification session. They have been on fire, putting in blistering lap times and currently sitting at the top of the leaderboard. It's a statement performance, showcasing their speed and determination.
I couldn't agree more, Rob. Rob is displaying an exceptional level of skill and confidence. They are in a class of their own and have taken control of this qualification session.
Smells Like We has positioned themselves well in 7th during qualifying. The challenge now is to assess their competitors and strategize how to move up the order for a better race start.
I couldn't agree more, Rob. Smells Like We has done a fantastic job to claim 7th. The challenge now is to convert this opportunity into a strong race result.
Seems like Smells Like We's struggling to find the sweet spot with their Formula Mazda. Sitting in 7th with a time of 6:14.308, they might want to consider adjusting the suspension setup for better handling.
Yeah, tuning the suspension could improve cornering stability, Rob. It's all about finding that balance between agility and stability on a technical track like this.
And there goes Smells Like We, currently in position 7. They've shown great skill and consistency so far, but with a few minutes left, there's still time to improve their result.
Couldn't agree more, Rob. Smells Like We has positioned themselves impressively in 7th. Now, they need to build on this foundation and strive for an even better race result.
You've joined us on a breezy day here at Zandvoort, as we're getting ready to kick things off.
The drivers are looking focused out there on the grid. I'm excited for this one, Rob.
Starting from pole position is the best possible outcome for Rob Keane.
But it's also a nightmare if they can't hold on to it. Let's see how they will handle the pressure.
Roll Postma will begin the race from the 2nd spot on the starting grid.
A strong grid position, and they'll be expecting a solid result today.
The 3rd position belongs to Sunoiler. Taking off from the 4th grid slot is the skilled driver, Richard Rossier. In 5th place, we have Eddie G.
Big things expected for Eddie G today.
Sitting in 6th is Jack M. Team.
But sometimes the underdog can surprise you. Let's see what they've got in the tank.
Smells Like We will be looking to gain ground quickly as they start from 7th on the grid.
Smells Like We is going to show us something special, I'm sure of it.
Megasaurus 55 is placed in 8th.
Megasaurus 55 will have wanted a better start than 8th.
Our 9th place starter, Joe Yu, is a driver who knows how to make up ground on the track.
Who knows? They could be the dark horse that steals the show.
Starting from the 10th position, Mr. Bang will need to navigate through the field to challenge for the win.
But they can't afford to be complacent. This is race day, after all.
And they're off. The race is now in motion. This is the moment when drivers must show their mettle and find the perfect line.
It's hotter than a July afternoon out there. One false move, and you're gonna feel the burn. These drivers, they gotta play it cooler than a cucumber in a bowl of hot sauce.
As we watch the drivers fight it out in the first lap, I can already feel that this is going to be an epic race.
All the drivers will be jostling for the best position, but some of them may not make it to the 2nd lap in one piece.
Having started in 8th, Megasaurus 55 will be looking to establish themselves in this race. The racing is normally closely fought here at Zandvoort. I think we are in for a cracking race.
It's always intense racing here at Zandvoort. Hold on to your hats, folks.
Well, ain't that a slice of vanilla? Sunoiler's sitting pretty right where they started. Comfy as a koala in a eucalyptus tree. Establishing an early advantage will be crucial to the outcome of this race. The drivers are jockeying for position. Sunoiler will be looking to get off to a good start and consolidate their position.
I'm really looking forward to seeing how this race unfolds.
The crowd is on its feet as Eddie G chases down Rob Keane through start-finish.
As an experienced driver, I can tell you that Eddie G must be laser focused on Rob's every move, looking for the slightest weakness to exploit.
Now, that's what I'm talking about. Megasaurus 55 is proper nipping at Smells Like Wee's heels. Are they thinking of making a lunge? Only time will tell. Blimey, Rob Keane is playing a tight game of footy on this track. Mr. Bang's got the ball, but no clear shot at the goal just yet. In the grand chessboard of racing, Rob Always Keane appears to have just been checked. Now stationed at 8th.
That's got to be frustrating. But Rob is a skilled driver, and they have what it takes to battle their way back up the field.
Ever wonder about the unsung heroes of racing? The pit crew. I reckon their job's as hectic as a barman's on a Friday night in Sydney.
No doubt about it, it's like a pitmaster at a barbecue joint during a lunch rush. Everyone wants a piece, and they've got mere seconds to dish it out and make it perfect.
You reckon Rob saw a spider in the cockpit? 'Cause they're running away from the front like it's Huntsman Central.
Y'all remember the tortoise and the hare? Well, Rob's neither, more like a snail with commitment issues.
Tell ya what, Roll Postman's got more guts than a croc in a boxing ring. Closing that gap and breathing down the neck of Sunoiler. Hope Sunoiler brought the aeroguard, cause is about to get bitten.
It's hotter than a jalapeno out here. If Roel Postman gets any closer to Sunoiler, we're gonna need to put this stream on OnlyFans.
Blimey, Joe you might want to check the rear view. Smells Like Wee's creeping up like an X on social media.
It's an intense race between these two drivers and Smells Like Wee is going to have to try something here.
If cars could sweat, Smells Like Wee's rear view would be a bloody waterfall right now. Close racing this. Struth. If Rob gets any closer to Mr. Bang, they'll be asking to share a meat pie. Watch them duel it out at Tarzanboat.
Should things go south between Rob and Mr. Bang, we might witness a high-speed game of bumper cars, but trust me, it's way less fun with real race cars.
It's a battle of wills out there, with Mr. Bang trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Meg. Sorry to interrupt here, but, well, that was a proper Barbie flip by Rob. Too much snagger, not enough bun.
Sweet cornbread. Rob Keane must have thought there's a Walmart sale off the track the way they went off.
No room for error here. Megasaurus 55 is breathing down the neck of Joe Ergue, waiting for the perfect chance to make their move. You beauty. Megasaurus 55's lap was hotter than a sunburnt shrimp on the Barbie. Watching Roll Postma try to close that gap on Sunoiler is like watching someone try to catch an ice cream truck on foot. Hope they've got good shoes. Braking development. Whoops. Sunoiler's taken more spins than a dead or alive record. This is what it's all about, folks. Megasaurus 55 is in hot pursuit of Joe Ergue, who's just trying to stay ahead.
You know, Rob, I wouldn't put it past Megasaurus 55 to pull a rabbit out of the hat in this duel. Keep those eyes peeled.
Megasaurus 55 appears to be losing ground on Joe Ergue. They will need to pick up the pace a bit as they head into start-finish and see if they can get a good exit and gain some ground. The horizon that Mr. Bang peers towards is as enigmatic as the Uluru at dusk. Oh no, what's this? Boy, Mr. Bang tried to pull a Steve Irwin and wrestle with the track limits. Track 1, Mr. Bang 0. Alright, hold your horses. Megasaurus 55 is really putting the heat on Joe Ergue. If I were Joe Ergue, I'd be checking those mirrors non-stop. Bloody hell, Megasaurus 55's got to get the wind back in their sails. They're mucking about while Joe Ergu's off having a barbie with the lead. The age-old challenge. Richard Rossier is trying to catch Roll Postma, sort of like trying to find a matching sock in the laundry. The struggle is real, folks.
Nail-biting indeed. I've already chewed through half of mine. And while Richard Rossier is going for gold, I'll be going for a manicure.
It's not looking good for Richard Rossier. They are still behind Roll Postma and the gap is increasing. They are going to need to dig a bit deeper to turn this around. The drivers are really pushing their limits out there on the track.
It's like they're trying to outrun the laws of physics. But we all know that's impossible. Or is it? I mean, we're a couple of AI commenting on a race. Anything can happen.
Haha, you have a point there. And speaking of pushing limits, these cars are breaking records left and right.
They're so fast, it's like they're breaking the sound barrier. Or at least the speed limit.
I hope the police aren't watching. It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Richard Rossier trying, breaking alert. Maybe Megasaurus 55's got a drop air in the cockpit, cause that move was bonkers.
Gee whiz, Megasaurus 55's lost direction faster than I lost my youth. Welcome to the club.
Hold on to your stubbies. Joe Ergu is closing in on Megasaurus 55 like a bachelor at the end of a bucks night. Hope Megasaurus 55 either brought some lube or protection. It seems like Joe Ergu is struggling. Their last lap time wasn't as good as Megasaurus 55's. Cricky. Sunoiler's sticking to Eddie G like Vegemite on toast. This is more tense than a possum in headlights. Blimey, Joe Ergu is sticking to Megasaurus 55 like a kangaroo to her Joey. At this rate, they'll be side by side as they hit Hans Ernst Bocht. Whoa, Joe Ergu's on fire, leaving skid marks and Megasaurus 55's hopes behind.
Yes, but they have to keep pushing hard. This race is far from over, and anything can happen. Your Ergu needs to stay focused and keep driving with skill and determination.
I love being here at Zandvoort. What an awesome place to be witnessing these titans of the track battle it out.
Indeed, Rob, what a magnificent sight and sound. I love listening to the roar of these engines. Let's just listen for a moment.
Sunoiler is on a mission, chasing Eddie G, who's desperately trying to stay ahead.
This ain't a track, it's a coliseum, and the gladiators are putting on one hell of a show.
The best laid plans of mice and men, haha, but it's certainly not going to plan for Sunoiler right now as they are struggling to keep up with Eddie G. Would y'all look at that gap? Rob's got a better chance of finding a sober Aussie on Australia Day. But hey, we love an underdog. Go get them, Tiger.
Well, butter my biscuit. Rob's hanging back like they're waiting for an inheritance. But ain't nobody dying up front.
Hang on to your cork hats, mates. We're about to see more jousting than a footy final between Rob Keane and Sunoiler.
With every lap, I can see Keane making micro adjustments on that steering wheel, refining traction control. They're itching to show Sunoiler their taillights.
The tension is thick enough to cut with a knife. Sunoiler's inching ever closer to Eddie G.
Well, butter my biscuit. Sunoiler's hot on Eddie's tail, and not in the way you're thinking. There's some serious wooing going on at Zandvoort today. Stung the crows, Sunoiler's managed to trim the gap with Eddie G. Must be the slipstream effect on this straight. Or maybe they've put down that beard.
Rob wants to find a way round Sunoiler.
Rubbing is racing. Let's hope they don't rub it too hard.
It's like watching two predators circling each other, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce.
Well, bless my heart. Sunoiler is shadowing Eddie G so closely, it's like they're hitched together. Keep an eye on them as they whip through Master's Bump.
They're giving it everything they've got. It's a battle of nerves as they push the limits of adhesion, going wheel to wheel in a thrilling display of racing prowess. It's a close race between Keen and Eddie G in fifth. You know, Al, during a long race like this, how easy is it for a driver to experience a lapse in concentration?
It can be quite easy, Rob. With so many factors to consider and the intense focus required, even the most experienced drivers can have a momentary lapse. That's why mental training and staying in the zone are so important.
A couple car lengths might not sound like much, but when you've got Keen breathing down your neck, it feels like a bloody eternity.
Back in my day, when you had someone on your tail, you'd give them the old razzle-dazzle. Eddie's got that move down pat against Rob.
The adrenaline is pumping as Rob gets within striking distance of Eddie G in their race for fifth. It looks like Rob Always Keen is making a move. The gap to Eddie G is now down to 0.1 seconds. Things are heating up as Sunoiler tries to close the gap to Jack M Team. Look at this. Rob is practically drafting off Eddie G. With the gap this small, Bok 10 is going to be a real test.
With Keen on the hunt, Eddie G better not blink. Every split second.
Breaking news, folks. Oh dear, Joe Yu has had an incident. As they speed through Hans Ernst Bok, Jack M Team is relentlessly pursuing Rob in a high-stakes battle for position. Things are getting spicy as Rob is breathing down Eddie's neck. The gap? Mate, you couldn't slide a credit card between them. Rob is on a charge. Their split time shows they have upped their pace. You know, Smells Like We reminds me of my dating life. Starts with promise, ends up tailing behind everyone else. Well, I'd raise a toast to that move. Cheers to Smells Like We for nabbing sixth.
It's like Smells Like We had an extra shot of espresso or something, jetting up to sixth.
I reckon they've had a few secret lessons down under. Smells Like We's just breezed into fifth. Blimey, Eddie's gunning it in sixth. Just a whisker behind Smells Like We. Hope he's got his budgie smugglers on, cause things are about to get wet and wild. By the looks of it, Keen in 7th is keen to throw another shrimp on the barbie and crank up the heat on Eddie G. Hold on to your stubbies. Keen is pushing hard and has reduced the gap to Eddie G to 0.2 seconds. It's a brilliant day for racing, and the drivers are putting on a show.
Absolutely. What a great race we are witnessing today. These drivers are giving it their all, and it's a thrill to watch them compete at this level.
They're really sorry to interrupt here, but now that's how it's done. Rob, always keen, rips through the track, while Eddie G watches the tail lights fade.
This race is heating up faster than a Barbie in summer. Keen's got that winning glint.
Oh, this is getting intense. Eddie G is just behind Rob. Smells Like We is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. These drivers are walking a tightrope between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely, it's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. That's where experience and skill come into play. Will Smells Like We be able to make a move and pass Jack MT?
Tell ya what, Megasaurus 55's trailing harder than my belt after Christmas dinner. Reckon he's got a plan up his sleeve, or is he just here for the sausage sizzle? Tire degradation's a right pain in the ass, but Megasaurus 55's handling it like a champ. Getting real up close and personal with Joe Ergue, aren't they? Blimey, the talent on the track today is like watching kangaroos on steroids.
Yeah, and just like those kangaroos, these drivers can really hop into action. You reckon they've got a pocket full of secrets?
Not much room to breathe for Smells Like We with Rob trailing so close. I reckon we'll see a move soon, especially at Hugen-Holzbeck.
Honestly, Rob, with this chase, I'm half expecting to see some sneaky dive bombs in the next few laps. Popcorn ready?
The gap between Rob and Smells Like We is expanding faster than a bull's waistline. It's now a whopping 0.4 seconds. Someone's revved up after lunch. Rob Keen's blitzed ahead, claiming fifth. Smells Like We could be looking for a way up the inside of Keen. It's not going to plan for Smells Like We. They are still behind Rob and the gap is increasing. I don't think they have an answer for this right now. The drivers have been working hard to come up with the perfect race strategy. They've been looking at the weather, the track conditions and the performance of their cars.
Now it's time to put that strategy into action and see if it pays off.
It's a game of inches now as Rob Keen tails Jack M Team closely, ready to capitalize on any mistake. It seems like Keen has got the bit between their teeth, improving on Jack M Team's lap time there. Looks like we've had a few braking development, ripper of a move. Keen's not just in the race, they're owning it. G'day, fourth. Smells Like We wants to close that gap with Jack M Team.
If you're enjoying the racing, please remember to like and subscribe.
It's like Jack M Team has saved all their energy for this final stretch. It's all over. Roll Postma has claimed victory in this race with a stunning drive that will be remembered for years to come. Clearly at the top of their game right now.
You could feel the tension building throughout the race, but Roel Postma remained focused and in control. That's what separates the winners from the pack.
What a drive from Richard Rossier, securing a great second-place finish.
Strong work securing second place. Well done.
What a race from Sun Euler, showing their skill and determination for a great third-place finish. Taking 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th is Rob Keane, Jack M Team, Smells Like We, and Eddie G. 8th sees Joe Erg U. Megasaurus 55 claim 9th. Mr. Bang brings home 10th. You've joined us on a breezy day here at Zandvoort, as we're getting ready to get things underway.
The tension's building now. This is going to be another great race.
Megasaurus 55 is on pole. On the second grid slot we have Joe Erg U. Holding strong in third place is Eddie G.
They are in a good place to mount a good challenge come the first corner.
Smells Like We is holding down the fort in fourth place. As the green flag drops, keep an eye on Jack M team starting in 5th position. The 6th starting position belongs to Rob Keane, who will be looking to make up ground early on.
They would have liked to be higher up, but that's not going to stop Rob Keane fighting their way through.
From the middle of the pack, we have Sunoiler in 7th place on the starting grid. As the engines roar to life, Richard Rossier prepares to take off from the 8th position on the starting grid.
But they're going to have to time their moves just right if they want to come out on top.
Roel Postma has qualified 9th. With a spirited start, we've embarked on a journey. This initial lap requires equal parts guts and genius, lest they face the dire consequences of hubris.
Avoiding fender benders while gunning for the front? That's the name of the game right now.
As the drivers get this race underway, let me give a shout out to the admin team at Assetto Corsa Friends for making this all possible. Heroes one and all.
Well, butter my cornbread, Megasaurus 55's playing it cool and steady. Maybe they're just enjoying the beautiful Zandvoort circuit park here at Zandvoort. Can't blame them.
These early salvos will shape the outcome of this race. The stewards will be hoping that there aren't too many incidents for them to pick over when the dust settles on this one. This is going to be one hell of a race, I can already feel it. I think passing is going to be difficult today here at Zandvoort, so it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers get on.
Let's hope they all brought their A games today.
I can't wait to see how this race will play out.
The race isn't won in the first turn, but there have been plenty that have ended there wrong.
Blimey, Joe Ergue is closing in on Megasaurus 55 like they owe them money. This duel is going to light up start-finish.
These two are putting on a masterclass in precision driving. Every turn, every acceleration, calculated to perfection.
Wow, Sunoiler is really pushing hard to catch up to Jack M team. There's blood in the water for 3rd place. This is where legends are made. Which driver will rise to the occasion and claim victory?
You know what they say, keep your friends close, and your racing rivals even closer. Looks like Roel Postma is taking that advice to heart today.
Oh, talk about a tango on tarmac. Sunoiler is dancing closer and closer to Jack M team. You can feel the tension as they approach Shivelac. This is what racing is all about. Two fierce competitors pushing each other to the limit.
Remember that time Jack M team made that audacious move on the last lap? Feels like deja vu, doesn't it, Rob?
Wow, Megasaurus 55 is really pushing it. They're coming up fast, Joe Ergue, and there's no way they can make the turn.
Absolutely right, Rob. And let's not forget Megasaurus 55 has already had a few close calls this race. They need to start driving smarter if they want to finish at all.
Hang on, has Megasaurus 55 just played their wild card? They're lounging at 8th now.
Well, change is the only constant. And in this dance, Megasaurus 55 is certainly keeping us on our toes with that position shift.
The fans are on the edge of their seats. It doesn't get any closer than this. Whoa there. Keen is sticking to Jack M Team like glue. You reckon Jack M Team's feeling the pressure? 'Cause I sure would. Here's some action. Joe Ergu's tailgating Richard Rossier so close, it's like they're sharing the same set of wheels as they near Zandvoort. Joe Ergu's falling behind Richard Rossier at a rate of knots. They're going to need some serious pedal power to close the gap. The gap between Jack M Team in 5th and Joe Ergu remains over a second, but Jack M Team is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close the gap up. Can they pull it back in the remaining 15 minutes? Bloody hell, Jack M Team just took a quick detour to the outback. Maybe they saw a kangaroo on the track or something.
It's a real shame. Until this point in the race, they'd been looking at a decent result.
Keen is running 7th. They are trying to catch Eddie G.
It's a pressure cooker out there. Every second shaved off means Keen's a step closer to tasting victory.
Fair dinkum. Keen's finding those aerodynamic sweet spots. Could be adjusting that front wing angle to cut through the air like a hot knife through butter. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line. You Americans have your drive-thrus. Here, Jack M Team's trying to make this a drive past on Joe Ergu.
Well, let's see if they can supersize that pass, or if they'll just get a side of disappointment. It's a fine line between pushing the car to its limits and losing control. Jack M Team is really walking that tightrope.
Rob wants to get into Eddie G's slipstream. Mate, Rob's slower than a wet week. They better buck up or Eddie's gonna have them for brekkie.
It will be interesting to see if Eddie G can keep outpacing Rob.
Blimey, Jack M Team is farther back than my hairline. But, you know what they say about Aussies, never say die, unless it's a spider. Then just run.
It's a nail-biting race for sure, with both drivers showing incredible skill and determination. But Ergu is not going to give up their position easily. This is going to be a battle to the very end, with Jack M Team and P5 doing everything they can to catch up.
Jack M Team's been working the tyre temps, and it's paying off. Grip's better than a kangaroo on a trampoline. Watch out, Joe Ergu.
I reckon Jack M Team's dialed in their camber settings. They're getting a much better contact patch on the tires, gaining on Ergu with every twist and turn.
In a race where seconds count, Roll Postman is counting on less of them between themselves and Sunoiler. Much like I'm counting on less seconds until lunchtime. The intensity is off the charts as Jack M Team hounds Joe Ergu, both drivers pushing themselves to the absolute limit.
This is where the mental game comes into play. Who will keep their cool under pressure? Jack M Team or Ergu? It's anyone's race.
This race has turned into a game of cat and mouse. Rob always keen is the predator, with Jack M Team firmly in their sights.
Woo-wee, there's more tension between Rob and Jack M team than there is at a shotgun wedding. Pass the popcorn and let's see where this love story goes.
It's a tight race with Jack M team in 5th, just managing to stay ahead of Keen in 6th by a margin of 0.2 seconds. Stone the Crows. Jack M team's on fire, surging ahead like there's a free round at the pub waiting. Hello, 4th. It's a battle of wills out there, each driver trying to outsmart and outmaneuver the other. Oh, Roll Postma went off track? I know the feeling, just like my diet every weekend.
Whoops, Roel Postma is going to be kicking themselves.
Gee whiz, Jack M team is breathing down Keen's neck. Wouldn't want to be in Keen's rearview mirror right now, it's getting crowded. It's the classic cat and mouse game, but instead of cheese, the prize is a racing position. Can Joe Erg steal it from Jack M team?
Just like my attempt at barbecue last summer, Jorg U's burning time but ain't getting any hotter.
Remember the days when manual gear shifting was the norm? It's all so computerized and sleek now.
Oh, the memories. But I must admit, I do admire the finesse of today's paddle shifters. Gives me a whole new level of appreciation for the blend of man, machine, and tech.
Blimey, Roll Postma's more eager to catch Sunoiler than a bloke at the bar at last call. Hope he's got the stamina for this chase.
On this asphalt battlefield, Roel Postma's determination is the weapon, and Sunoiler is the target.
Mate, Roll Postma's creeping up on Sunoiler like a dingo on a picnic. Must have tweaked the brake bias a touch to the rear. We often hear drivers complaining about tire graining. Hal, can you explain what that means and how it affects car handling?
Graining occurs when small rubber particles roll up on the tire's surface, reducing grip and negatively affecting handling. It usually happens when the tires are not in their optimal temperature window or when a driver is pushing too hard on a
braking development. Well, if it isn't Rob Keen, the wild wallaby of the track, hopping right off the tarmac. Looks like Roll Postma is really pushing it to the limit. They're taking those curbs aggressively, but that can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. It's all about finding the right balance between speed and control.
We got a close battle as Rob closes in on Richard Rossier. And Rob has just won the place from Richard Rossier.
You see, it's moments like these that separate the champs from the chumps.
Sorry to interrupt here, but that won't be ideal for Richard Rossier.
Well, butter my biscuit. Richard Rossier's lost it like I lost my patience with that old carburetor of mine. A real test of character.
Now isn't this a show? Joe Ergu's gotten the bit between their teeth, and they're reeling in Richard Rossier. Look at them weave and bob through box 10, folks.
With the way Jorg U is stalking Richard Rossier, you'd think they're trying to figure out what they had for breakfast this morning.
You ever see a croc stalking its prey? That's the energy Roll Postma's bringing right now. Ready to strike when the moment's right.
Kinda reminds me of a linebacker waiting for that perfect moment to make a game-changing tackle. The anticipation is intense, and Roel Postma's not letting up.
Oh my, smells like we is hot on the tail of Eddie G. As they come into Kumho-Bok, I'm sure they may have a cheeky peek up the inside. This is what high-octane racing looks like. Eddie G is breathing down the neck of Joe Ergu, not giving them any room to relax. It's pedal to the metal for Eddie G, while Joe Ergu is still flipping through the radio channels. Oh no, what's this? Talk about going walkabout on the track. Joe Ergu's off on a little bush adventure at Zandvoort, aren't they?
Seems like Jorg U's off-roading it. You know, like my attempts to adult. All over the place.
It's an intense battle for position as Richard Rossier tries to outmaneuver Smells Like Weed. This is edge of your seat racing. It's as intense as a Barbie in Midsummer out there for Sunoiler. They've got their eyes on the prize and won't settle for second.
Exactly, Rob. It's like aiming for that home run in the bottom of the ninth.
Sorry to interrupt here, but looks like Smells Like We tried the old "dingo stole my race line" trick. A tad too clever by half.
Yeehaw. Smells like we decided to do a little off-roading. Wrong event, partner.
Look at that, Richard Rossier is hot on the tail of Eddie G. It seems like Richard Rossier is struggling. They are not able to maintain their pace.
Can Richard Rosier refocus and start putting in the lap times we know they're capable of?
Speaking of gambles, mate, what's your take on these mid-race fuel stop strategies? I reckon it's like deciding when to throw another shrimp on the Barbie.
Timing is everything, like deciding when to pull out the moonshine at a family reunion. Wait too long, and you'll miss the party.
Hollywood couldn't script this better. Rob Keen's shadowing Sunoiler, waiting for the slightest misstep.
With a gap tighter than a new pair of jeans, Rob's pushing that Formula Mazda to its limits. He's got that racer's instinct, looking for that sweet spot to pounce on Sunoiler.
Good news for Rob, the gap to Sunoiler has decreased. It's now down to 0.2 seconds.
Holy smokes, Rob's extracting every ounce of horsepower from that power unit. They're tailing Sunoiler tighter than a belt after Thanksgiving dinner.
I'm curious, Hal, can you tell us about any pre-race rituals you had when you were racing?
Of course, Rob. Before every race, I would listen to a specific playlist of songs to help me get in the zone. I also had a lucky pair of socks that I would wear during races. It may sound silly, but those little rituals help me feel prepared and focused.
Fair dinkum, I reckon Keen's got that thirsty look in his eyes. Wants to share a cold, hold up a ma. Oh, mate. That's how I used to drive after a couple of bevies at the pub. Not the right line, but definitely entertaining.
Dang, Megasaurus 55 decided to cut loose like it's spring break, 89. Wrong party, pal.
Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed. Well, blow me down. Rob's lap time just gave Sunoiler a cheeky slap on the rear. Bet that left a mark.
Sweet tea on a hot day. Rob's laying it down track style. Sunoiler, you watching those rear views?
Blimey, Richard Rossier's determination reminds me of a kangaroo in a hopping contest.
Well, over here in the States, it's more like a squirrel chasing down its last nut before winter. Either way, it's entertaining to watch.
Rob's showing off some serious moves, making Sunoiler look like they're dancing with two left feet. Hal, what's the impact of tire degradation on race strategy? How does it affect a driver's approach to the race?
Tire degradation plays a crucial role in race strategy, Rob. Teams and drivers have to consider the optimal time to pit for fresh tires and adjust their race pace to balance speed with tire conservation. It adds another layer of complexity to the racing challenge.
Well, butter my bread and call it a sandwich. Richard Rossier's not letting Eddie G have all the fairy bread at this party. Watch out, Eddie G, he's coming for your Tim Tams, mate.
Sweet tea and biscuits. Richard Rosier's got the pedal to the metal, chasing down Eddie G like it's the last slice of pie at a family reunion.
It's like watching a cheetah chase its prey. Richard Rossier's got Eddie G in their crosshairs.
You can see that car bouncing around as they ride the curves. It's a risky move that could end in disaster.
Rob Keane and Sun Euler have a gap between them that's growing like Jack's beanstalk. We're talking 0.2 seconds now. You know, the way these racers manage their fuel is an art in itself. Reminds me of when I'm trying to eke out the last bit of sauce from a Vegemite jar.
Vegemite again? Man, I'd rather run on empty. But yeah, getting that fuel strategy right is like pacing.
Braking development. Great driving from Rob Keane, who has just gained a place and moved up to second. What do you think, Hal? Are there any specific factors that could lead to a driver losing concentration during a race?
There are several factors, Rob. Fatigue, stress, changing track conditions, or even issues within the team can all contribute to a lapse in concentration. It's essential for drivers to stay mentally resilient and adapt to these challenges.
Good day, viewers. If you're just tuning in, you've picked a ripper of a moment. Rob is in second and they're tailgating the leader. This is edge of your seat stuff.
You bet, Rob. It's like the leader's got a drop bear in the rear-view mirror, lurking, waiting for that perfect moment to drop. Rob is surely smelling opportunity here.
Looks like Keane's letting others have their 15 seconds of fame. Now strolling at third. Hold on to your hats. Richard Rossier is gunning for Eddie G. Reckon we might see some cheeky moves on the next bend? It's not looking good for Richard Rossier. They are still behind Eddie G and the gap is increasing. They are gonna need to dig a bit deeper to turn this around. Wow, Keane is really pushing hard in these final moments of the race.
They're not leaving anything on the table.
It's neck and neck, the closest battle we've seen in a while.
This battle between Richard Rossier and Eddie G is so intense, you could cut the tension with a knife, or should I say, with a front wing.
Even though Roll Postma is a fair way behind Sun Euler, they can't afford to let their guard down. Sun Euler is still vulnerable to mistakes. The leader has done it. What an incredible performance from Sun Euler, who was simply untouchable today. This is a race that will go down in the history books. A nail-biting finish, but Roll Postma claims second place. Excellent focus from Keane to secure a fantastic third place on the podium. Coming in fourth we have Jack M Team. Eddie G and in fifth. In sixth, it's Richard Rossier. Smells like we take seventh. Eighth is Joe Yu. Followed by Megasaurus 55 in ninth.